So today I want to tell you a story about an artist named Dan Fraga. I want to tell you about an industry that is falling apart at the seams and about a project that certain people beholden to that industry tried to shut down, and yet it is still functional, it is still operational, and it is beyond successful, beyond anything that those folks could ever imagine. So hey there. So today we return to that wonderful world of comic books where apparently success, it has left the gatekeepers and has landed in the laps of those who decided to go out and to listen to consumers. See, that's the terrible crime that the artists we're talking about today did. He actually listened to consumers. He decided to go out to put a product in front of them, and he decided to use that horrible word Comicsgate. And he decided to say, you know what, I'm that. And here's where he makes that announcement.
Yo, what's happening? It's Fraga Boom. Happy day to you. I'm here to talk to you about Comicsgate and why I am part of Comicsgate. Do you guys remember McCarthyism or Seduction of the Innocent, that book written in the 50s that condemned comic book artists for the things that they wrote about and drew? Well, I feel like we're experiencing those witch hunts again. Ever since I said I was part of Comicsgate, the opposition has slung insults at me, called me a has-been, mother effer, a cuck, a piece of shit, other things like that. Instead of asking the question, hey, if Comicsgate is all of these things like intolerance and bigotry and prejudice, why would Dan Fraga be part of Comicsgate? He's not intolerant. He's not prejudiced. He's not a bigot. In fact, the only bigotry and intolerance that I have faced has been from the opposition. The guys at CG, they've embraced me with open arms. I've been getting letters from friends that have basically said, love you, buddy, but can't associate with you anymore. Even got one that said, hey, man, I really care about you, and I think you should go around and tell your other friends, your Comicsgate, so they know who they're dealing with. Like I have like an STD or something. Hey, ring ring, hey, it's Fraga. Yeah, I've got CG. You've been around me. You might want to check and see if you have it. Would you like me to tattoo it on my wrist? Hey, I'm CG. Now you can see. I'm going to walk around. Well, guess what, guys? I'm Dan Fraga. I'm Comicsgate. Come and get me.
So can you imagine getting letters like that and the implied or else that is associated with it? Hey, you need to not hang out with those professionals. You need to not hang out with those consumers. If you do that, you need to warn other people because, again, the implied or else is that you are out and, well, they don't want to be out as well. Now, Dan Fraga has actually been pretty nice about dealing with these folks, despite the fact that, again, they want to destroy him because he made this statement that, hey, I'm going to go make comic books over here. You can see people like Davidson. He is the perfect example of gatekeeper talking about Dan Fraga is an effing idiot who openly sides with abusive Comicsgate, and it's disappointing to see at Dynamite Comics promoting his work. I love Dynamite a lot. They're a great company, but this is not good. So you see what this person is doing right here. Because you side with those folks over there, we're going to put a qualifier on you, aka abusive in this case. Then we're going to tag in Dynamite Comics, say, hey, why are you promoting that work? I love your company, in fact, a lot. You're a great company, but this is not good. AKA, I'm going to harm you, and I'm going to harm him in this too. What's even more interesting about folks like this is they never lifted a finger to help Dan Fraga out, but they will definitely bring his name up again and again while trying to demolish what he does. Dan Fraga sings the same sad Comicsgate song about how you can't make sexy comics anymore. This is such utter and complete BS, and so obviously untrue, I don't understand how anyone can be stupid enough to fall for it. Now, what's hilarious is they also utilized the cover for the comic book Domino. Well, this is what the comic book Domino looks like inside, just to tell you what those wonderfully sexy comic books actually look like when you open the pages. Drink that in. Isn't that lovely? He continues by saying, I unabashedly like cheesecake and beefcake in comics. I think there is always room for sexy people in ridiculous costumes. Hell yeah, bring it on. I love Frank Cho. I love J. Scott Campbell. I totally understand why some people don't like them, and that's absolutely fine. We don't all have to like the same things. Totally acceptable. AKA, you can cancel them if you want. Where are their organs? That was J. Scott Campbell, by the way. And yeah, that means sexy dudes, too. All equal opportunity beefcake and cheesecake. The problem comes, I think, when there's only beefcake and cheesecake, or that there can't be any at all. In my comic world, these are both totally valid interpretations of Captain Marvel. Both have a place. In short, anyone who says, I support Comicsgate because you can't draw a sexy woman in comics anymore is either a complete and utter idiot or a filthy liar. Not sure which one Dan Fraga is, but pick your poison. A complete and utter idiot or a filthy liar. Yeah, these people, though, they're the good guys, remember? They're the ones out there totally not trying to gatekeep and wreck your freaking careers. That's just one example of people trying to cancel a guy because he says, hey, I'm going to do for myself and I'm going to do for my consumers. But you know what? That is absolutely failing. If you look at his project right now, and I would say back this, it looks really good, by the way. It has $72,221 in backing, 837 backers, and it's done that in less than 2 days. I mean, really process that in less than 2 days. This downturn is happening at the same time while the industry these folks are gatekeeping for is begging for help online. You see discussions about this. You have a shutdown. It's forcing comic book stores to go online and to beg for help. And this stuff, it's being covered by the International Business Times. AKA, it's so bad that the world is watching this stuff fall apart. Now, point in case, I'm sure that you've seen this discussion here, but watch where this leads. You have comic industry professionals coming out and degrading comic book consumers. And when conversation comes up about customer service within that, you have people like Ron Martz here, we're going to focus on, telling you, you don't even understand comics. You don't know who the client is. My business card says writer, not customer service. And you know, writers, they're hired by publishers. Publishers sell to retailers. Retailers sell to fans. And so my client is the publisher, not the fan. Yeah, you want to see what that turns out with? Barely being able to get something funded and having to extend the time while doing so. I mean, if you look at this is Ron Martz in action. He managed to get a paltry 154 backers. This is a guy with Green Lantern under his belt, $7,780 on a $7,500 goal. And again, they had to stretch out the time frame for it because he could not hit this in over a month. It almost took 2 to be able to make this amount of money. And that's the way this industry works, isn't it? You have people that are out there representing it, calling someone a complete and utter idiot, a filthy liar, joining in to degrade them while they're saying his career has plateaued. Can I pick both? Yeah, in the best world, we can all pick both. Well, you know what else we can pick? Exactly where the money that used to go into that industry goes. And you know what? We're picking people like Dan Fraga. I mean, I find this to be fascinating too, because again, we're told that this guy, his career has plateaued. Well, isn't it amazing that a guy's career has plateaued can get almost 1,000 backers within 2 days when people that are in good with the industry, they can only get 154. And that same person, they have trouble making $7,500. And Dan Fraga, yeah, he makes 10 times that. See, that's the thing about this industry, though, isn't it? I mean, this is an industry I've supported since I was 3 years old, and that I no longer want to put money into, at least in the mainstream, because it turned its back on the consumer. It said you're not welcome. And now why it's needing people because everything is closing down, it's easy to say, yeah, no thanks to you and no thanks to your gatekeeping. That's why I get a good laugh when I see someone like this person in the industry trying to be a gatekeeper because they can only pull down roughly 5 figures normally on the project. Yeah, who's the complete and utter idiot now? Fun times, huh? Fun times. But yeah, you tell me what you think and support this project as well. I'll put a link in the description for it. Check that out. Send a message to these people saying, hey, in this time of uncertainty, you know who we back? We back the people who back us as consumers. So to close, I want to say thank you for showing up. Thank you for participating. You make these endeavors possible. Without you, none of this stuff works. If that industry would have woken up to that fact, yeah, it would have been interesting. But then again, we wouldn't have had to be here talking about it. So hey, that's their bad. I don't want to monopolize your time while talking about this stuff either, but I do want to thank you for it because not enough people do. And I also want to say, you like this content, consider subbing to the channel. And if you have been subbed, make sure you're still there because this platform, yeah, it also has problems with that. Also, we have links in the description. Check those out too. But even if you don't, you're welcome here. I appreciate you. And until next time, let me say thanks again.